First off, we get one extra week of Toriko. That I like. I really like that. Hallelujah! Okay, if I sound a little unemphasized, it's just my throat is really fucked up recently. So, honestly, this is just what the doctor, or in this case, chef, ordered. And it played out beautifully. I mean, the wedding was put together. I mean, the way it was just put together, it was exactly how you'd imagine it. A quick, comedic reception. Boom, boom. Make now kiss the bride. You know, who the fuck was that? Regardless, and it also included a cameo-filled banquet. And that was the main focus of this chapter. Especially some other cameos at the end. And honestly, it was a banquet. A huge, beautiful banquet. And the characters showing up and just fleshed out beautifully. Characters interacting with each other that at most parts couldn't. Like Starjin saying, "Oh, Toriko's a relative." Just shocking everyone who asks. That was brilliant. It was beautiful. Actually, shed a few tears here and there, because honestly, when series end as quickly as this one had to, they don't usually get such a well put together ending. Anyone remember Bleach's ending? That was shit. So it's good that Toriko managed to at least set up enough that it was able to pull off such a good ending. Although this wasn't the ending, because we still have next week's chapter, which I don't recall us supposed to be having. So that's a treat in its own. But, you know, heck. Honestly, all the characters there, they had characters from the gourmet world, from the human world, characters that were former villains, of course. Even dead villains showed up. You'd think death would stop them, but everyone remember the whole spirit stuff from the Pear arc and everything? And I guess with whatever happened with Neo's stomach, there must be some gateway or something. I don't really care to look into it too much, but at least even from the start of the chapter, when, you know, Toriko's discussing with Komatsu Midora's grave, you get a feeling that something has changed between the boundaries of life and death, to the point that, you know, even Midora can just, you know, ghost Jedi himself up and bargain with Toriko on whether he wants a grave or not, which was actually pretty nice. I liked that. But aside from that, honestly, seeing Akasega's entire family show up, that was the icing on the cake of this chapter for me. And there was a lot of icing on this cake this week, so, like I said, beautifully put together. I really am speechless and sore throat, so, forgive that. But Midora crying, getting to eat with his family again, even in death, it just really gets to showing, you know, Midora's character. That's another thing I loved about this. Midora, at first, he just seemed like a typical villain, but then they started giving him a character arc. Hyping him up, hyping his power up, hyping his emotions up. And before you know it, he wasn't a villain at all. He was not even a side character. It felt as if he was getting as much, you know, as much panel time, not screen time, as the rest of the characters. Something that even Naruto didn't pull off when they, you know, made Orochimaru a good guy in all sense of the word. So yeah, I actually, thinking about that now, that's actually a brilliant thing they did. I love that. I keep saying they and they, but how do you pronounce his name? Shimabukuro. Oh, that's a nice name. Shimabukuro Sensei. Beautiful work. Props to the highest, because not many can actually pull what you did off. But you know, let's shift to the banquet. Enough of the end. I probably shouldn't have skipped to the end all of a sudden. Should have gone for the big meat of the chapter first. But no, I want to spend my time on the meat of the chapter, because that's how meaty it is. You know? because I love how all the items on the full course that was put into this banquet, it wasn't just the items of the full course. It was all of the big food items that had played as major plot devices in previous arcs that showed so many different emotional arcs that honestly I was crying on a lot of these. From the Century Soup arc to the Jewel Meat arc. Honestly, a lot of things I loved about Toriko was the depth of the despair of each of the early arcs. I like how they kept that going throughout. That made this series for me at the beginning. It wasn't always the food, but the food, oh my god. Honestly, this series has been one of my favorites for quite some time. It's sad that it has to go, but all good things must come to an end. But honestly, the memories didn't just spark up in readers, they sparked up in the characters involved in all of those arcs, or just connected to the foods or items. For example, Ichiru and the Billion Bird arc. Actually, there's a shit ton of examples. I mean, hell, let's see. The Jewel Meat was connected to Starjun. The Milk Seasoning to Milks 1 and 2. The Medicinal Machi to Yuta. The Endless Mammoth to Neo. Neo! Who looks absolutely ridiculous in that turban. But the comedic sense of it shows off how he grew as a character. Since, Toriko shared his food with him. Which I like. I've always, like I said with Midora, Shima Bakura Sensei, beautiful work on the villains. Always. Abso-fucking-lutely. But, speaking of former villains, the Meteor Garlic to Live Bear, another former villain who took a major role in the series for some time. I mean, didn't really have much of a presence in the final arc at all, now that I think about it, but he did up to that point, and I love that. So, of course, the most anticipated thing of this entire series, if we're talking about anticipated stuff, love stuff of this series, is the sharing of God. And here's one thing that I want to say. I believe that the sharing of God was everything we hoped for. Not just people asking for seconds and everyone crying up, but I love how it fit into the moment of the wedding. The entire full course, in fact. Because this banquet was the perfect setting for eating Toriko's full course. I mean, I know in the past, Toriko has been one to just have a random banquet. And that would have been nothing new. It would have been special, but nothing new. Having a banquet, not for the full course, but the full course enhancing the said meaning of the banquet. I mean, it's beautiful. They just put two meanings of pure happiness together and made a wonderfully fleshed out moment. And I would have been perfectly fine with this as the final chapter, but it isn't. So I am absolutely excited to see how Shima Bakura Sensei tops this with the next final chapter of Toriko. That's going to be hard to top, but we got a week until then. I'm so happy. Honestly, this chapter alone was so big. It filled the void that, would have been in my heart thanks to One Piece not being out this week. But even so, I completely forgot about One Piece till I just mentioned it. That's how good this chapter was. So tell me, what was the moment that touched you most? Would this have been a fine end to Toriko? What do you think about that? And if not, what else could have been added on? What characters were left out? I want to hear your thoughts, so tell me down in the comments below. And also don't forget to like the video and share it with your friends. If you're new here, then join this growing community as we're going for 75 subscribers by Thanksgiving and 100 by New Year's. We have 55 right now, so feel free to check out all I have to offer. Most of my content is linked down in the description, as well as links to the Twitter and Facebook page. Thanks for watching. I'm Smalls of Black Knight 94, and hopefully I'll see you next time.